Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. It's been a long time since I've posted a video. I had to fly to New York because of an illness in the family, and then I caught a bug on the flight, either up there or back, and then I was sick for 2 weeks. My voice isn't back all the way yet, but I don't need to sing to make a video, so Logic Pro 11 is a free upgrade if you bought any version of Logic Pro 10 in the past decade, and Logic Pro 11 is a very major upgrade. So it features an improved AI drummer, but it also adds an AI bass player and an AI keyboard player, and the internet is losing its collective mind. I've had a few days to play with the new AI studio musicians. Now, I don't want to downplay anybody's anxiety about being replaced by technology. Actually, what I want to do is I want to give you hope. Part 1. Technology has been replacing human skills for centuries. The idea of humans being replaced by technology goes back to the beginnings of human history, right? So Thog the caveman was the guy, the only guy, fast enough to run down a deer and kill it. Thog fast, Thog run down deer, Thog kill deer, tribe eat, Thog get lucky with cave woman, Thog up all night to get lucky. And then someone invented the spear. Now suddenly Thog's speed was no longer needed in hunting. But Thog's speed still had some value because he used it differently. First in line for chow, like that sort of thing. When some new technology takes something we do and does it for us, we can either quit, we can learn a new skill set, or we can learn how to apply our existing skills in a different way, right? So when records and tapes were both first introduced, people thought it would kill live music, and it didn't. Although a lot of contemporary pop artists are basically singing along to recordings these days, but When synths came along, string players thought that no one would ever learn how to play a violin in the future, and that didn't happen either. It also didn't happen when sampling came in. But now there is a lot less orchestral work these days because one person with a lot of skill and a laptop can sound like a recorded orchestra. If you think that's easy, by the way, it isn't. Samples get you halfway there. But you need to understand how to compose orchestral music, how to use all the different articulations for every instrument, how to spread the instruments out, etc. There's a lot of skill to it. But there are still real orchestras doing real performances in every major city in the world. Drum machines took a lot of jobs from drummers in the 80s, remember that? And in modern pop music, you're still mostly hearing drum machines, but plenty of recorded music does still use real drums if there's a budget for it. And for live band gigs, a drummer is still used most of the time, except again in pop where they're singing the backing tracks. Part 2. Logic's new AI studio musicians. After playing with the AI keyboard player in Logic, I've come to the conclusion that it's not as good as I am yet. But in the future, I could certainly see some virtual keyboard player who could flawlessly play any style, inventing melodies based on vast understanding of what humans like, and such a player could conceivably create tracks more interesting than mine. So when that day comes, am I going to sell my keyboard? No. Here's why. I have a friend who makes wooden furniture for a hobby. He's very good at it. Since every piece of wood is slightly different, every piece of furniture he makes is slightly different. It's very good, but of course, a machine can measure and cut more accurately than he can. I mean, he could just buy a CNC machine and let it do a lot of the work for him. And if he did furniture for a living, that might make sense. But he makes furniture as a hobby. He likes to work with his hands and make something himself. That's the whole point. So I'm the same way. I'll let a machine do grunt work for me, but I'm not going to let it write and record my main keyboard part because I like writing and recording keyboard parts. So the tool is there, but that doesn't mean I have to use it. So where might I use the AI keyboard or bass player? Well, if I want to make backing tracks for my one-man cover band, there are songs where I'd be happy to involve them. A pop or rock arrangement won't work because, you can't just play any old bass line for Another One Bites the Dust. But for traditional jazz songs or even some of the old Beatles songs, I'd be happy, more than happy, to let my cyber jazz trio record a backing track that I could then go in and tweak. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the tools do what I want them to do when I tell them. And my standards for my own music are, quite frankly, higher than my standards for a cover band backing track. I mean, let's be honest. There's another aspect to this, right? The bass player and the keyboard player really do need you to tweak and play with the settings, just like the drummer. I mean, the drummer is happy to play the same damn drum fill every 8 bars if you let him, or the same Ricky Ricardo tom-tom drum part for every song intro. Damn it, Kyle, you got some splaining to do. They may have removed your name. It's still you in there generating that same old lame drum intro. How about we use that fancy M1 chip to generate a decent intro? There's a level of skill needed to make the drummer, the bass player, and the keyboard player sound real or even sound good. I don't play drums well, so I'm happy to learn how to tweak the drummer. Been doing that for years. But I'm a decent bass player, and I'm a good keyboard player, so I doubt I'd use them for my own compositions. But then again, if I get stuck, I might plug them in and see if they can generate some new ideas that I could tweak or steal. Part 3, competing with the computer. And finally, listening to the keyboard player, it has made me more aware of what parts of my own playing sound unique and what parts sound like an AI keyboard player. As a keyboardist, I can't get away with boring piano parts at this point. I mean, the machine can do that. I need to outdo the machine. I need to raise my game. Let's not lose sight of why we make music. It's self-expression. All the new AI players are basically just the logical extension of what you used to do with the old Lowry organs with their auto accompaniment features. It's just that it's gotten to the point where the modern Lowry is now good enough to fool most people. So if you don't play bass or you don't play keyboards, should you use the new AI players? Sure, why not? But they're going to sound stupid unless you learn how to tweak them correctly. Now, once you do that, you can end up with something that sounds decent. So it's still going to come down to the song, though, isn't it? Keyboard sounds decent, but is the song any good? Part 4, a future of bad pop music? Here's what people are afraid of. One day an AI composer is going to be able to write songs for you. You're going to say, hey, I want a classic rock song similar to Carry On My Wayward Son. And it's going to use various AI players to play its own copycat composition. And it'll write the words, and it'll use an AI singer to sing them. And the only human interaction will be the person typing the prompt, right? This type of tech is certainly possible in the future. Might even end up on the radio. Record companies would love to eliminate those pesky artists. And then most of the crap on the radio will be computers trying to spit out what's popular based on data. Unlike our current system, where humans try to spit out what's popular based on data. I don't care what's on the radio. I've never cared. I'm a musician. I make music. I'll make music even if no one hears it. But trust me, in a squeaky clean, perfect, data-driven music scene, there will be a huge audience for people who want to hear something real and authentic. Because music's never been about perfection. It's been about expressing emotion and making you feel something. One last analogy. At some point, we will be able to build humanoid robots who can run faster than humans, catch better than humans, and never make mistakes. Does this mean there's not going to be any more baseball or football? I mean, are we going to one day tune in and watch a Super Bowl played by machines instead of humans? No, we won't, because the point isn't about who can run the fastest. The point is to see humans, our fellow humans, who were really good at something, competing against each other. We're always going to want to see that. And there's always going to be an audience for real musicians playing real music. It's not about who can play the notes perfectly. It's about seeing humans who are really good at their instrument making music live, right there in front of us. As always, thanks for watching. And I will see you again some future Friday at 5.